And there you go. Happy Monday, everyone. This is Lauren Kramer. Welcome to the Worldwide Weddings TV, the online TV show of Worldwide Weddings PH. How are you? How was your weekend? Thank you so much for being here with me tonight. So it's another episode of Behind the Scene with Lauren. And again, I'm Lauren Kramer. I'm an event host and a singer, basically here in Albay and Legazpi. So if you're looking for a classy, a sassy, and a singing host, there's no other way to go, but you have to go and find my page. That's Eventology by Lauren. So here in Worldwide Weddings TV, we feature different wedding experts nationwide and learn wedding planning while having fun. And of course, tonight's episode is brought to us by the following Adja Deliveries. More than just deliveries, a delivery concierge. BNI Supreme, the most successful business referral organization of its type in the world. Of course, we've got online um, sponsors as well, virtualexpo.ph, bridal.ph, brideworthy.com, and weddingreviews.com. Plus, we've got two more amazing sponsors, ayan, Belmont Hotel Boracay and Ash Shout Out. I think they're having a promo right now, 20% off. I'm not sure with the code later on. Maybe we can post it on the comment section. But since it's Valentine's Day, and if you wish to receive, ano ba, greetings from your celebrity crushes, then you can contact Ash Shout Out. Okay, so again, good evening, hello Philippines, and hello world. So tonight's episode, it's with me behind the scene with Lauren, and this is the Worldwide TV Wedding Season 3. So if you're a Filipino or even not a Filipino, but if you're planning to get married in the Philippines, then you are in the right place. Okay, so every night, just make sure to tune in because for the rest of the week, we have different episodes. So tonight, that's mine, behind the scene with Lauren. So time check. I know we've got brides in Singapore. It's 8 p.m. there. UAE 4 p.m. United Kingdom 1 p.m. US 8 a.m. and in Australia 12 midnight. Of course, this show is in preparation of the upcoming Worldwide Weddings online bridal fair on January 5 to March 6 with interactive virtual expo happening in a few months, in a few weeks now, March 4, 5, and 6, our bridal fair, but completely online. And I think we have so many sign ups already. So while the slots are open, please, please, please do make sure to grab your slot and join us on that bridal expo. Again, that's March 4, 5, and 6. And make sure that you comment, subscribe, like, and share this episode because every Sunday on the community event, we choose one winner, okay, which you can win WWPH merch, okay? So, and also don't forget to like our FB page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So just make sure that you comment your name and if you're soon to be bride or a bride to be, if you're a groom, because I know there's groom watching. If you're a supplier, this is the time to, show. Hi, Ashley. Ayan. Okay. So I think we're ready. So this is the little things that you should know regarding about your wedding. So mostly these are like few of the things that I have accumulated all throughout the years of hosting. So ayun na, the tiny details you need to know about your wedding. So let's have the first slide. Okay. Your guests don't need to know about the timeline of your wedding. Ayan. So it's almost the same with what we've discussed last week. I think there's a picture. Diane, can we show the picture? Okay. There you go. Can we zoom it in? But basically, it says order of events. So, meron talaga mga brides na they're very into detail. So, one of my brides actually sent me this. And she was asking if it would be a good idea to put it sa invitation niya. And I strongly said no, because the reason being is although all of your suppliers are on time, it would be putting parang ano ba, undue pressure on you and for the rest of the suppliers. And during the day of the wedding, there are things that we cannot control. Like for example, the wedding, the weather, um, unexpected events. So although maganda to because the guests would know what will be happening all throughout the day, it also um takes away the surprise factor for your reception, especially since they would know the rest of the things that will be happening all throughout the wedding. So if I were you, I strongly do not suggest putting this on your invitation. Okay, that's number one, or having it posted somewhere where the guests can see. Let them just be surprised with how or what's the flow of the program. Because if you're gonna look at it, this picture, it has a sparkler exit. So usually hindi yan ginagawa dito sa Philippines. But what my bride wanted to have one. So I said, if you're gonna put it on the invitation or if the guest can will see it, mawawala na yung surprise factor nun at the end of the day. So, basically, ang issue lang ni Bride is that she wanted everyone to say, sabi ko, we can have a different alternative for that instead of posting it on your invitation. Plus, kakain pa siya ng page sa invitation. So, that's one thing that you would need to consider. Another thing is your coordinator will definitely have a timeline. I think that's for a different number ata. But nonetheless, the order of it or of events are actually for the surprise of the guests. Hindi nila kailangang malaman yun. Ayan. So, hi Ashley, Joy Robles, comment down below as to where you're watching. Ayan. Can we have the next slide, Diane? Ayan. Timeline is your guide and not the real thing. Anong ibig sabihin yan? So, once you've booked a coordinator, what will happen is, especially on the day of the wedding, they will be presenting you with a timeline. So, ito yung mga mangyayari all throughout the day. Okay? Kasama na dyan yung makeup, preparation, photo shoot, the ceremony itself, the post-nup, and then eventually the reception. Okay? And they would have timelines on the side. So, nasa gilid yon like from 8 to 9, ito yung prep. Okay? Basically, they're doing that to keep track of time. So, nakalagay dun for example 8 to 9 prep or 8 to 10 prep ng bride, okay? It's a guide but it's not the real thing. The reason being is it can either be earlier, so kung magaling yung coord nyo, which is good, mas nauuna kayo dun sa timeline, or minsan naman and hindi na iiwasan talaga, minsan nalilate like for a few minutes, but it's something that you should not take against your coordinator. Pwede mo lang siyang i-take against your coordinator if it's like way too much. Ano yung way too much na paghihintay? So, I think it would be an hour, okay? 30 minutes to an hour na adjustment from the timeline that was set is way too much. So, that will cause, hi, Day. Dayan, I'm not sure, but I can't see, have they commented? I'm not sure. I can't see their comments or maybe wala talaga comments. But hi day, Kairos. Oh, emojis. I can see the emojis though. Bakit kaya? But hello guys. Thank you for watching. So, as I was saying, the timeline, it's just a guide, okay? So, it's a guide for you to um not really to follow, but a guide para for you to be guided as to ano na dapat ang nangyari for this specific hour. Now, yun na nga, ang leeway mo there is 30 minutes to an hour. If it's way beyond that, based dun sa timeline, late na kayo for the rest of the event. So that's one thing that you should look for a coordinator, someone who will provide you with a timeline, but also someone who's gonna explain to you that the timeline is just a guide but it's not the real thing. Okay? Because yun nga, as I've said earlier, katulad sa slide number 1, there are really things that we cannot control on the day of the wedding. So the key is preparation and an open communication with your coordinator, especially if there would be, part of the entourage who will not be staying with you in the hotel, or they'll be coming from other cities, yung mga ganon. Dapat nasasabi yun kay coordinator. Kasi minsan, yun ang nagko-cause ng, ng delay. Yung mga part ng entourage na galing pa sa malalayong lugar and hindi siya na-communicate ng mabuti with coords. That's it. So, let's the next slide. Okay. So, it's a tip because I've experienced this last Saturday lang. So, your bridal car may be cute, tama ba? But are you sure that it can make it can be on time, dapat yon. That's my plan. Your bridal car may be cute, but are you sure that it can be on time? Okay, so anong story nito? So I've hosted a wedding last Saturday sa Sumlang Lake or Socorro, the venue. And then um the reception was in Daraga Church. So merong siguro like sa 20 to 30 minutes drive, okay, from the church 20 to 45, I think. 20 to 45 minutes drive from the church to the venue. Okay. So what happened was the bridal car na ginamit was actually not the modern type. It's actually really the vintage type. But we weren't expecting na the yung makina pala nun is vintage as well. So what happened was after the pictorial from the church, it took some time before nakarating sila dun sa venue which were um they were supposed to have an untouched pictorial and they were actually after the sunset kasi yun talaga yung binayaran for the venue. Super ganda ng sunset doon sa Sumlang Lake, guys. And yun talaga yung hinahanap for post-nap vids. But they were able to catch the sunset pero medyo nagkaroon kami ng delay for the untouched pictorial. Now, when we were trying to review the for the whole day, okay, kasi ganun yung mga coords and host na, you know, who has been long part of the industry. After every event, we would discuss kung bakit na late, ganon, para at least at the next time, alam na namin kung ano yung mga dapat hindi na gagawin and whatnot. So, yung bride assist, yung isa sa mga coordinator, we were asking her kung bakit na late sila going to the venue. And it's because of the bridal car. So, you know, little things, these are tiny things na, okay, we're gonna get a vintage car para cute sa picture. But one thing that you have to understand is kung malayo yung ceremony sa reception, make sure that at least kaya nung kaya nung car yung mag-travel para pumasok siya dun sa timeline. Kasi super na-move talaga yung program namin and the rest of the pictorial because of the car. So, although it's cute sa pictorial, yun, nagkaroon kami ng delay. So, it's one thing to consider. So, if you're looking for a vintage car, it's one thing to ask the driver or the owner of the car kung gano'n naman siya at least kabilis mag-drive. Now, if it's gonna be an issue, then I would suggest just have the modern day looking car and have your florist at least design it instead. Okay? Kasi especially if you're a bride who would like to be on time for the reception and yun nga may mga untouched pictorial, it's something that you should consider. And so may comment si Ashley, untouched pictorial pala ang tawag doon. Noted yan. Tagal ko naisip paano ilalagay sa timeline ng wedding ko. Yes, Ashley, untouched pictorial. Usually, okay, for the brides out there who's planning, untouched pictorial is naka-ready na, kumbaga naka-set up na yung the reception and then mauuna kayo. So it's either you meet before you go to church. So medyo dumadami na din yung couples na ganon kasi 'di ba pamahiin they're not allowed to see each other before um or they're only allowed to see each other sa church. They're not allowed to see each other before the ceremony. Pero ngayon, meron ng mga couples na they really don't follow the tamahiin. So what they would do is have the untouched before they go to the church. So untouched siya because wala pang guests, kumbaga kayo yung nauna and yun, dun kayo magpipictorial, part na siya ng eventually, later on, hindi na kayo magpo-post up doon. Meron din namang, yun nga, mag-church muna and then mauna sila sa reception before the guests and they would have the untouched pictorial. But Ashley, I strongly recommend that kung sino man, it's for you to achieve the untouched pictorial, ang main um, suppliers that you should look after are the florist, the sounds and light, and the coordinator. So dapat yung tatlong yun, they've already worked together before kasi yung Untouched Pictorial medyo kumakain siya ng time for the reason that dapat mas maaga ng at least 1 hour 1 hour ka from the timeline. Like for example, your makeup, ganon. And then the entourage, kung actually hindi kasama sa Untouched Pictorial. So the makeup and then the setup dun sa venue. So for example, Ashley, ayan, Ashley ha, this is unpaid. Pero since you're watching this, it's I'm giving you yan noted. Okay. Oh, okay. So kung one venue kayo, Ashley, it should really be like six sa timeline. So I would advise you, well, obviously, you would have your untouched pictorial before the ceremony. So dapat at least maaga kayo ng 1 hour before doon sa 1 hour and 30 minutes before doon sa allotted time before you start your ceremony. Okay? So dapat sounds and light, kung may LED wall ka, everything na included dun sa reception, dapat nakaset na siya at least 2 hours before naman the ceremony. Kasi if not, then hindi kayo makakapag-untouch ng maayos. Okay, so that's what you call it, the untouched pictorial. Going back, again, for my brides and my couples out there, the bridal car may be cute, but again, ask if it's if it can if it can be on time. Okay, so super simple things, pero it really does matter. It can change a lot, especially on the day of your wedding. So let's have the next slide. Okay, your prenup photos video should be played again on the reception. Okay, so here's one of the things that masasabi kong um paano ba, pet peeve sa akin, especially for the wedding and photo kapag um hindi nila na-endorse on time yung yung prenup videos. Kasi 'di ba ngayon ang uso na is they would publish it on Facebook, okay? So for my brides and couples to be, usually they would release it like siguro a week before the wedding day, okay? Which is okay lang naman. But if I were you, siguro bargain at least 2 weeks before the wedding day. The reason being kung bakit siya pinapublish on Facebook is that para yung mga hindi makakapunta, or tama ba? Hindi makakapunta on your reception day, at least meron silang glimpse nung prenup videos nyo. But one thing na napapansin ko ngayon, okay, if your coordinator is good, they'd be asking for a copy of your prenup photos or the prenup video mismo at least siguro 2 days or at least on the same day. And then ang mangyayari, especially if you have a LED wall, instead of just having the normal design dun sa LED wall, they would be playing that video. So alam mo yun, na maximize mo yung photo and vid mo together with the LED wall. Because minsan, there would be instances kung saan late magbigay yung photo and vid nung video. So, minsan naaawa ko dun sa couple because I don't think na ma-maximize nila yung LED wall at the same time the photo and vid. So just make sure that you ask your photo and vid to have your prenup videos or photos kasi minsan ano na siya, photos and then slideshow endorsed to your coordinator at least in the morning of your event, okay? Or if not, at least paka-publish nila ng prenup videos, no, they can give you a link via Google Drive or something, and you can have it downloaded yourself, and then just give it to your coordinator. Kasi at least we're able to, maximize talaga kung ano yung binayaran nyo with photo and vid, and at the same time, kung may LED wall kayo, or even like the projector, merong tinitingnan yung guests before kayong dumating. Okay? So that's one thing you should look for. That's one thing that you should look if you're looking for a photographer slash videographer and at the same time a coordinator. Okay, so let's have the next slide. Ayan, okay, your invitation should be readable. Do I have a picture for this, Diane? I don't think so. Okay, so wala. Okay, so Another thing, so I hosted a wedding around February too. Okay, so super close friend ko to. And then I didn't ask for the physical copy of the invitation kasi ang uso naman na ngayon are pictures, okay, which is in JPEG form and it will be sent. Usually, they circulate it around Messenger, di ba? But ang nangyayari kasi for minsan, sa kakasend natin ng kakasend, nagda-downgrade yung quality nung picture natin. Okay, so if you're a bride who's actually, ayan, sorry for the noise. If you're a bride, hi Lindsay, what happened sa Anne, Lindsay? If you're a bride and you happen to invest in ano ba, in like ang tawag nila yun, e-invitation, you have to make sure that at least, okay, yung isi-send sa inyo, oo nga Lindsay, late ka na. Number 5 na kami. Okay, so at least yung isa-send sa inyong invitation is of high quality kahit JPEG siya, okay? Kasi ang nangyari was the invitation was sent sa akin okay, via Messenger. So syempre I do my own script kasi or hindi ako nagdadala ng any extra paper whenever I host. So I retype things. Now, while I was reading the invitation, I was having a hard time reading it kasi the font that was used was Um, it's not readable. At the same time, yung quality na nung picture na sinend sa akin, super baba na. So, that's one thing that you should look for mga gumagawa ng invitation na ask as to paano nila isi-send, anong format, and the quality. Kasi, kumbaga, wala ka ng physical invitation, yun na lang, then make sure na it represents you in the best way possible, 'di ba? And that's the best way to make the most out of what you've paid for dun sa invitation. So, what I'm saying is for the invitation, it doesn't have to be like extremely flamboyant na hindi na nababasa yung ano mo yun, yung mga letters and names and whatever. So, just just keep it classy and simple, okay? Now, if you'd ask me, since it's 2022, a lot has been changing, especially through e-invitation. So, minsan, what they would just put, dati, di ba, super haba ng invitation. They would put all the name of the ninongs and ninangs, the entourage and everything. Ngayon, hindi na ganun kauso yun. So, I've hosted a wedding wherein their invitation was just, we invite you sa harap, and then what, when, and where lang. And then sa likod, name of the parents, and then the outfit for the day, and I think the QR codes, if you wish, if because the couple wishes to receive, paano ba, financial gifts instead of real gifts. So ganun lang, as in like, it's a two-page invitation without the list of the ninongs, ninangs, the bridesmaids and whatnot. So maybe that's something that you can consider because um technically kasi on the wedding day, all of those people will be introduced to each other. And maybe you can have a copy or a printed copy, at least one or two, just for the the pictorial on the day. Pero to have it printed with all the names of ninongs, ninangs, and the bridesmaids, hindi na siya ganun ka required. Okay, so you can actually have your own invitation, just like what my other couple did. So super, ang ganda ng font, ang linis lang, and 2 pages lang siya. So wala silang masyadong ginastos, pero andun yung thought na we're inviting you, this is what we need for our wedding, ganon. So that's something that you should consider. Okay? Yes. Hi, Appy. Ayan, my bride for December 29. My high school classmate, and I'm hosting her wedding. Nabudol ko siya to host my wedding. So, I to host her wedding. So, I'm hosting it. Ayan. Let's have number 6. Okay. Your caterer should be on time and slash penalty clause. Okay. So, first time in my hosting career, okay, that I've experienced this, and it's something that I would want to share because very important siya. So I've hosted this wedding again last February too. And it was a Christian wedding. So we have the ceremony and the reception sa isang place lang, okay? Now, the place was just for the venue. They hired a coordinator, okay? And syempre hindi ko na sasabihin yung name. They hired a coordinator but with the catering kasama na siya, okay? So what happened was um for the first part of the ceremony, okay naman siya kasi there's no food involved eh. Pero as towards the end of the ceremony, I was already asking for the grazing table kasi the couple would be out for the post nup and what we only had was games and the band. So we actually need the couple paid for a grazing table talaga for that day. So I was asking them asan na yung grazing table. Sabi nila wala parating. Okay? So ano na nag-signature na for the ninongs and ninangs, and then wala pa rin, hindi pa rin dumarating yung raising table. And then, nung natapos na talaga siya, paalis na yung couple for the post-nap, wala pa rin. So, buti na lang, the couple actually bought some kakanin. So, may puto doon, bibingka, and they were instructed to just serve it kasi wala pa rin yung grazing table. Now, to my surprise, kasama pala ng grazing table yung dinner. Okay? So, what happened was just to, alam mo yun, para maaliw yung audience, we did the game. I did the first stretch of the game, the trivia questions, and then we had a band. Pero syempre, you cannot keep the guests inside kasi without having anything to munch on. Kasi I could have proceeded with the program, okay? So, pwedeng we skip na the grazing table. So, I could have proceeded with the program. But my problem with that was, kapag nag-start na yung program, dire-diretso na kasi yon. And ang nakakatakot is kung masagasaan ko yung part ng dinner, tapos wala pang dinner. So, doon talaga, that's the first time in my hosting career na na-delay kami because of the food, okay? Including the um grazing and the dinner itself. So it was so much stressful na we were trying to keep the guests in, pero yun talaga, it's really hard to make Filipinos stay kapag may social gathering. Tapos yun, they don't have anything to munch on. So, um, siguro we were able to keep like 75% of the guests while still waiting for for the food. But yun lang, nakakalungkot kasi although marami pa rin naman yung guest, alam mong may nagsialisa na just because, one supplier weren't able to deliver on the wedding day. So, eto yung sinasabi ko sa inyo mga brides and grooms, okay? So, if you're gonna hire or if you're gonna need get a caterer, okay, make sure na stipulated sa contract nila kung anong oras sila darating, okay? And ano ang kasama or ano ang dala nila on that time. Kasi for example, kung ganon, kung naka-grazing and dinner, may iwasan sana yun kung different supplier yung kinuha nila for grazing. Maybe, 'di ba? And iba din for dinner. So, yun, the penalty clause, what you can do is like, hindi ka naman sa, nangaaway ng supplier, but you have to make sure that it's written on your contract as to what time na darating sila. If by any chance na malilate sila, okay, on the given time, and magkukos sila ng delay for the program, then you can put a penalty clause such as, for example, you can have 25% return to you kung nag-cause sila ng delay, 'di ba? Yung mga gano'n, or 25% less kung hindi ka pa fully paid doon sa food. Yung mga gano'ng bagay kasi I think um na it's a big responsibility, especially it's dinner and it's gracing table. So it's really a must talaga na we look into our contract, and if you're not sure about it, ask whoever your coordinator is or your host kasi minsan alam talaga nila. So, let's read a few comments here from Appy. We experienced that too. Ceremony ended 3 p.m. Food did not arrive until around 8 p.m. Oh my God. Kanya-kanya na bili ng iluman. I guess na sorry, sir. We cannot contact the caterer. Oh my God. Was it here in Legazpi, Api, or in ano, in Manila? That's so sad. Nakakaloka. 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. So, yun yung sinasabi ko. And yung catering service na yun and coordinator, nakita lang nung friend ko sa Facebook. Okay? So, if you're a bride, if you're a couple, and you have been watching my episode for the past, ilan ba, 6 weeks, lagi mong maririnig to sa akin na you always have to ask kung sino yung mga naka-work na nila, and if they have a Facebook page, go to the review tab. Kasi a lot of things can be known dun sa supplier if kung bara-bara lang sila, or if they really do deliver. Kasi it's your responsibility to do your own research. Okay, so Lindsay, if the venue and caterer is the same, would it still happen? It can still happen, Lindsay. It can still happen. Kasi especially if the venue is not the place where the food is cooked. May ganon, Lindsay. So that's one thing that you have to um, look into. Kasi merong mga venue na they would outsource their food still outside. So makikita mo yan, dinadala pa rin. Pero merong mga venue na doon na siya niluluto. So that's okay. Pero that's one thing that you should look into pa rin. So like ask as to is it gonna be the same venue kung saan siya lulutuin? Kasi there are venues na they already have their kitchen. So, dun pa lang, malalaman mo na there won't be any delay in the food if napag-usapan niyo ng maayos. Oh my God, it was in Manila. What year was this, Appy? Totoo, during the Feb 2 wedding, bigla siyang na-migraine because of that. So, just imagine, pagod ka from all the shoots and the pictorial on that day, tapos late pa yung food. So, medyo stressful. So, we have Ven, Chris. Hi, Ven. What time should be the gracing table served if the ceremony will be at 3 p.m. and the reception venue is around 30 minutes away from the church? Thank you. So, hi, Ven, Chris. So, if you're, is he a groom to be or a bride to be? Bakit bride lang? Oh, yung groom, chill lang. Chill lang yung groom. Pero eventually, at the end, medyo nagalit na. So, may question tayo. Can we show it on screen? So, ang question then is, what time should the grazing table be served if the ceremony will be at 3 p.m. and the reception is around 30 minutes away from the church? Thank you. So, if the ceremony is at 3 p.m., then your grazing table should be there at least by 3 p.m. Okay? And it should be ready by 3:30 to 4. That's the ideal. And dapat ganun talaga yung gagawin ng grazing table mo. Kasi if it's just a 30-minute away, you wouldn't want your guests to wait for the grazing table. So dapat pagdating nila doon, ang gagawin na lang is for the coordinator or the host to announce that the grazing table is now open, ganon. So at least with that, mapapafeel mo sa guest mo na they're well taken care of. So I hope, Ben, na-answer ko yung question. Again, if it's 3 p.m., your grazing table should be there. If they could be earlier, 2:30 kung magsiset up pa sila, or 2. But the grazing table should be ready at least by 3:30. Max na yung 4. Dapat pagdating ng guest, nakaset na yung grazing table. No worries, Ben. Bride to be. Hi, Ven. Saan ka? Saan ka saang part ng Philippines ka, Ven? Okay. So, yon, brides. Okay? Hindi nyo na kailangan ng lawyer for it. Okay? Just ask as to what time i-deliver yung food. The first question is, if the food is part of the venue, okay, then ask if they have a kitchen. If yes, then wala ka nang masyadong problema because it will be served. But if the food and the catering if the venue and the catering is different, then ask the food kung what time sila darating. If have your coordinators check it, kasi ganun talaga yung work ng coordinator. And then if they arrive on time, then good. If not, and they cause a problem, make sure to put it as a penalty clause dun sa um contract ninyo. Okay? Tagaytay. Okay. That's a good venue. Let's have the next slide. Okay. This is another thing. So, your host should know how to carry the mood. So my two of my February brides are actually the first two brides I've had this February are the most challenging are part of the my most challenging paano ba experience as a host. So number one was the Feb 2, yun nga na late yung food. So um your host should be able to know how to carry the mood kasi kung hindi I mean, magsisialisan talaga yung mga tao. So, the band was there, they were singing, and since I'm a singing host, I was singing at least four songs, and then the band just, just to have a variety. At the same time, we were having games. My second bride, yung last Saturday, eto, medyo, ano siya, medyo extremely challenging. So, um, hi, Nats and Jess. Ayan, because I super love this couple because they heed my advice. So, the brother of the bride actually passed away Tuesday. Okay, so parang mga 3 days before the wedding day. And then, so sinabi na siya sa amin ng coordinator. And then they were actually planning to parang either cancel it or tuloy. But they ended up pushing with a wedding. So since they pushed the wedding, they were actually asking me if we can like parang dim down the program kasi meron na kaming nagawang program obviously and it was a fun program. So they were asking if we can dim down the program kasi para kasi hindi for a Filipino culture hindi magandang tingnan na you're celebrating habang may patay which is really hard din naman, okay? So as a host, I have a different parang point of view on it. Ang sinabi ko sa kanila was that, those are two different life events. And ang nakakaloka was, nilibing yung brother ng bride a day before the wedding, so Friday. So alam mong yung part nung sa bride, they were emotionally and physically exhausted, especially the bride. So I said, they are two different life events. And if your brother would have been here and alive, he would not want it any other way but to have a happy and a joyous celebration kasi minsan lang kayo ikakasal. So hindi natin sinasabing not to mourn, but you only get to be married once and yung reception mo, it will mark, it's the start of your wedding. So it will mark the rest of your wedding. So syempre ayaw natin ng, nagmo-mourn na wedding. So I asked them if, we can like set it aside for a day and then after nun, we can process things. And they actually heed my advice. So what happened was on the day, I was asking, how was the vibe of the audience, the couple, okay naman daw. So we proceeded with the original program, which actually went very well because the guests had so much fun, the couple had so much fun, everyone had fun during the night. Although there were, points in the program na medyo emotional, syempre hindi natin maalis yun. But we had a good night. I really had fun hosting the wedding and all of the guests enjoyed it together with the couple. So, if by any chance, hopefully not, knock on wood, that would happen, you should hire a host, who sees it as in a different point of view. Kasi if I had give in to their request, parang hindi ko din kayang paano ba, i-process yun sa akin as a host na I've hosted a wedding not with my best foot forward. So, minsan ka lang ikakasal, so you better make sure you get the best suppliers. And that's one thing that you're gonna get if you hire a host who's experienced and who's, classy. So, ayun. Ayun, mahirap yun, Lindsay. How to carry the mood on a rainy day with white clothes and all guests. I think si Lindsay yung ano, 'di ba? May garden wedding, okay? Umbrella Lindsay. Classy umbrellas. 'Yun talaga 'yon. Let's have the next slide, Diane. It's good to surprise the guests, not the host and the coordinator. And ang dami kong lapses, hindi ko nabasa. So, here's the thing. So, if you're a bride or a groom, okay, and you're planning to have any surprise number or may mga gagawin kayong surprises, okay? Especially the family or whatnot. It's always best to talk to the host and the coordinator. Okay, mas maganda nang ma-surprise yung guest, wag lang yung host and coordinator. Kasi although we are experienced, to handle an unexpected situations during the ceremony or the reception, it would still be best if you can give us, a heads up para we can execute it. So, um, I had this couple where they've actually planned, parang both of them actually planned a surprise number for each other. Tapos, they weren't, ewan ko, siguro lapse of judgment na din. Hindi nila nasabi sa coordinator and sa host, okay, which is ako yung host. So, during the program na, parang nagsesenyasan sila kung sino mauuna. And I was like, ano to, para saan yung senyas, ganyan. Yun pala, they have surprise number for each other. So, they ended up, yun nga, surprising us, the guests, and the coordinators. Pero hindi ganun kasi ka-smooth yung execution. So, you know, if you wanted to be, have a very smooth execution on your wedding day, talk to your host or your coordinator. They're the best person to discuss it with kasi alam nila kung paano execute yung surprises na gusto nyo. And you can only do that if the host and the coordinator you've hired have been in the industry for quite some time and, are really into what they're doing. Hindi lang yung, bara-bara or putyo-putyong host and coord. Let's have the next slide. Okay, have your balances endorsed to your coordinator. So I think na-discuss na to, whimsical white green luxury garden. Ooh, okay. Eggs talaga, Lindsay. Mag-donate ka ng eggs sa anywhere. I'm not sure from what area you're in, but dito sa Legazpi, meron parang convent dito na they would offer eggs if they want to have, a very sunny day on their wedding day. But yun, that's your best option. Umbrellas, classy umbrellas. Siguro yung transparent umbrellas, tas white din yung handle, Lindsay. Saint Clair, yes, tama. Ganun, yun pala, may Saint Clair pala sa lahat. Thank you, Ben. Okay, so have your balances endorsed to your coordinator. This is a very good tip. So, bakit? Kasi yung coordinator mo, they can, if they're trusted, okay, that's number one that you should look into. Hindi na kasi kailangan maghintay ng the rest of your suppliers for you at the end of the program para, mabayaran sila. Because they actually have to, go home then. And kung na-deliver naman nila ng maayos yung gagawin, it would be best kung si coordinator na ang magsisettle ng balances. So, just make sure that you put it on an Excel sheet maybe, just have it printed, and then signature, that's very important. But basically, it can be done by your coordinator. So, sila na yung magbabayad for the balances. In that way, hindi na kailangan maghintay ng supplier until the end of the program para kausapin kayo. Because, you'd still be busy with picture takings, with the rest, may mga other concerns pa yan. So, para lang masaya lahat and hindi ka na mag-worry kung nabayaran na ba si ganito, then find a trustworthy coordinator and endorse your balances to them. In that way, hindi ka na wala ka nang worry at the end of the celebration. Okay? And the last slide, your SDE should be played as soon as. Ito, guys, I want you to listen carefully. So, the Feb 2 wedding that I've had, the coordinator actually was, hindi ko na sasabihin yung name, but we were actually arguing in the middle of the program. So, hindi naman arguing, but discussing. So, he was saying na, dapat iba daw yung arrangement ng program kasi may SDE and he'd been in the industry for quite some time. So, sabi ko, sir, it would be best kung, I don't think, the the arrangement of the program is bad. It's actually good na we have the first dance right away kasi yun yung kukunin ni photo and vid, okay, for the same day edit video. And bakit ko sinasabing your SDE should be played as soon as? Because ang ano na ngayon, kumbaga makikita mo yung skill ng photo and vid if they're able to take really good shots pero they're able to use minimum amount of time. Kasi meron talagang it takes time, yes, pero dun mo makikita yung skill ng photo and vid mo eh. If they're able to work within a schedule pero quality yung time, like that's the best photo and vid. So, one, eto, if you're a bride and you do happen, yes, okay, na ano ka. May question tayo, Dayan. So, do suppliers accept checks or do they prefer cash or online transfer? When suppliers accept checks, but most of us prefer now cash or online transfer. But I would advise Ven, for your protection, at least kasi part naman yun ng ano eh, contracts ng most suppliers. So 50% DP, okay? Minsan that's non-refundable na, and then the rest cash. So yung cash, you can endorse it to your coordinator on the day itself. Okay? Or you can actually have it transferred to your coordinator 2 days before or a day before, and then have the coordinator coordinate with the rest of the suppliers so that he can transfer it on the day itself. Okay, so going back, yun na nga, dun mo makikita if you have a good photo and vid, if they're able to take good shots um, um, uh, in a scheduled manner. Kasi ang SDE ngayon, or ang SDE before usually nasa last siya, okay? But ngayon hindi na siya advisable because as much as, you know, kahit gaano kagaling yung host mo and the coordinator, people would still leave at the after they have dinner. Like that's 50 to 75 percent guaranteed. So ikaw, if you're photo and vid and you want your work to be appreciated by the guests, then make sure that the photo and vid is the SDE is actually done during dinner. Okay? Yun yung paano ba, earmark mo ng isang magaling na photo and vid if they're able to stitch the SDE and have it played during dinner pa lang. Kasi actually yun yung kakatagal minsan ng program. So we would stretch just like what what I had last Saturday. Medyo buti na lang the band was already done kasi. So I had to sing. So I sang siguro mga 4 songs and hindi pa rin tapos yung SDE. So, you know, it's a good way if merong nanonood sa akin na same na photo and vid and they would agree on this. If you want to advertise yourself and your work, if you want your work to be appreciated, then the best time to play the SDE is while they're having or in the middle of dinner. Yung tipong pa-dessert pa lang sila or kakatapos lang ng dessert, basta yung may tao pa. Because aside from the couple, the rest of the guests would want to see the culmination of all the events that had happened, diba, throughout the day. So, sino na mag-enjoy nun kung wala na ding guest? And hindi na mapapanood yung work mo. So, it's an advantage for you. Okay? Hi, Edge. So, that's number one for my brides that are watching or bride to be, couples to be, coordinator, photo and vid. Please, if you can have the SDE, that's one thing that you should discuss with your same day photographer and videographer. Have the same day edit video played on dinner. Kasi super konti na lang yung kukunin nilang paano ba, shots on the reception. Mostly, yung mga nangyari na yun all throughout the day. So, you know, they wouldn't have much excuse because I've worked with super good photo and vids and yun talaga yung ano na sa akin, yung paano ba, yung standard. Kapag you're able to play the STA on dinner and may tao pa, that's good. So basically that wraps up my episode for tonight behind the scene. I hope you've enjoyed and learned um you know 10 simple tiny things that you can from this episode, and I hope you can apply them on your wedding. Don't worry because we can actually have you can replay this episode, okay, para you can watch tips. So it's best to have special numbers prior to dinner for PV to capture it for SDE. Yes, Ven, but again, the earmark of a good SDE is at least have it played on dinner. So if you've already booked or if you're still planning to look for an SDE, that's something that you can discuss with them. Or if not, hire a host that can sing. Diba? Or have a band. Or if not, yun talaga, look for a guest, siguro part of the guest who can sing. Yung hindi naman pang karaoke, syempre it's your wedding day. So yung someone professional. But basically that's it. Sliding invitation for pictorial purposes. What do you mean by sliding invitation? Ayan, we still have a few queries. Sino photo vid na gumagawa? Who is that smart COVID supplier? Lindsay, unfortunately, they're from here. So I'm not sure if they can sorry, go to Manila. But I think you can what you can do again is do your research, look for the photo and vid of any of your friends and then ask kung saan na play yung SDE. Then I'm not sure with your question, sliding invitation for pictorial purposes. I'm not familiar with the sliding invitation, but nonetheless, if you do happen to have any topics that you'd like to discuss or a wedding expert you want us to feature, okay, please let us know. On behalf, invitation in one, not by page. I'm not sure with it then. Maybe we can the one where the bride kissed the groom. Okay. So, on behalf of Miss Janae Rabe, Certified Wedding Specialist and Head Organizer of Worldwide Weddings PH, I'm Lauren Kramer. So, if you're a Filipino anywhere in the world planning to get married in the Philippines, then Worldwide Weddings is the place to be. Watch us here every night at 8 p.m. Manila time, or even better, join us inside the community so we can have more fun in planning your wedding. Again, that's my name. It's Lauren Kramer, and thank you for watching Worldwide Weddings TV, helping Filipino brides and grooms around the world. Visit my page, that's Eventology by Lauren, for your hosting and singing needs, especially if you're around Albaya and Legazpi. So that's it for me, guys. I hope you learned something from my behind the scene episode. I'll see you next Monday. And again, for all of those who commented, you'll be part of our raffle for the community event. So I'll be leaving you now, guys, and enjoy the rest of the week. Bye.